The observation deck of the Valdris Orbital Station hummed with the quiet efficiency of 100 species coexisting in uneasy harmony. Dr. Elena Reyes stood before the reinforced glass, watching the blue-green planet below rotate with indifferent majesty. Behind her, the medical bay's doors hissed open, and she didn't need to turn to know who had arrived. "The human," growled Commander Vectress, his triple-jointed legs clicking against the metal floor. The Draxian's scaled hide shimmered under the station's artificial lighting. "We have a situation." Elena turned, her dark eyes calm. "What kind of situation?" "The kind that involves a creche cub," Vectress said, his vertical pupils contracting. "Specifically, one that should not exist on this station." The creche were apex predators from the outer rim, 9 feet of muscle, fang, and primal fury when fully grown. Their cubs, while smaller, were no less dangerous. They were also a protected species, rarely seen outside their homeworld's territory. "Show me," Elena said simply. They found the cub in Cargo Bay 7, cornered behind a stack of supply crates. 4 security officers, 2 Draxians and 2 Velkari kept their distance, weapons drawn but not aimed. The small creature, no larger than a terrestrial tiger cub, hissed and spat, its silver fur standing on end. Blood matted its left hindquarter. "It's stowed away on a freight transport," Vectress explained. "Injured." "Protocol can wait," Elena interrupted, stepping forward. The security team tensed. "Dr. Reyes, I must advise." Elena was already moving, her medical kit in hand. She approached slowly, her body language open and non-threatening. The cub's eyes, brilliant amber with flecks of gold, tracked her every movement. It growled, a sound that vibrated through the cargo bay like distant thunder. "Hey there," Elena murmured, crouching 10 feet away. "That looks like it hurts." The cub's ears flattened against its skull. Its fangs, already impressive, were bared in warning. "I'm going to help you," Elena continued, her voice steady. "But I need you to trust me." 3. Vectress watched in disbelief as the human slowly, deliberately, set down her medical kit and pushed it toward the cub. Then she sat, cross-legged, and waited. Minutes passed. The security team shifted nervously. The cub's breathing was labored, its wound clearly infected. Finally, driven by pain or curiosity or something deeper, the small predator limped forward. Elena didn't move. The cub sniffed her hand, its warm breath ghosting across her skin. Then, with a sound that was half whimper, half growl, it collapsed beside her. "Nobody moves," Elena said quietly, retrieving her kit. Her hands worked with practiced precision, cleaning the wound, applying synthetic tissue regenerator, administering broad-spectrum antibiotics, calibrated for creche physiology. The cub watched her with those golden eyes, pain and something like understanding flickering in their depths. "There," Elena whispered, finishing the bandage. "You're going to be okay, little one." The cub made a sound, a chirping trill that seemed impossible from such a fierce creature. It nuzzled against Elena's side. "What do we do with it?" one of the Velkari officers asked. Elena looked up at Vectress. "We contact the creche embassy. Arrange transport home. Until then, he stays with me." "Absolutely not, Commander," Elena said, standing with the cub cradled against her chest. "This is a medical decision. He's my patient now." Vectress's mandibles clicked in frustration, but he nodded. Even a Draxian commander knew better than to argue with a human doctor when their mind was made up. The cub, whom Elena named Taro, after an old earth root vegetable, recovered quickly. Too quickly for a normal evacuation. The creche embassy, located 3 sectors away, required 2 weeks of travel. During that time, Taro became a fixture in the medical bay. The other patients, initially terrified, grew accustomed to his presence. Elena discovered that Taro had an uncanny ability to sense distress. When a Velkari engineer came in with severe plasma burns, screaming in agony, Taro climbed onto the bed and laid his head on the patient's chest. The engineer's breathing steadied. His pain seemed to lessen. "Impossible," muttered Dr. Zenth, Elena's Draxian colleague. "Creche cubs don't have empathic abilities." "Maybe they do," Elena replied, watching Taro purr an earth cat sound from an alien predator. "Maybe we just never bothered to check." Word spread through the station. The predator cub that the human healer had tamed. Crew members began visiting the medical bay with minor complaints, just to see the impossible sight. Taro, for his part, seemed to enjoy the attention, though he never left Elena's side for long. The Elite Guard, the station's special forces unit composed of the galaxy's most decorated warriors, heard the stories with skepticism. They came to investigate on the 8th day. Captain Thorvik, a Kragnor warrior whose species had ruled through military might for 3 millennia, towered over Elena. His 4 arms crossed over his armored chest. "I hear you keep a creche cub as a pet," he rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "I keep a patient," Elena corrected. "There's a difference," Thorvik snorted. "Show me this, healer." Taro was sleeping in a modified cargo container that Elena had converted into a den. When Thorvik approached, the cub's eyes snapped open. He rose, hackles raising, recognizing a warrior when he saw one. The tension was palpable. Thorvik's hand drifted toward his plasma blade. "Don't," Elena warned. But Thorvik wasn't attacking. He was kneeling. The massive warrior lowered himself to one knee, his 4 arms spread in a gesture Elena recognized as respect among his people. "The Creche are warrior-born," Thorvik said quietly. "To see one so young, so far from home, surviving, it is worthy of honor." His eyes, like chips of obsidian, turned to Elena. "And you, human, you faced a predator with nothing but kindness. My people have a word for those who work miracles with impossible odds. We call them Javakir, wonder workers." Elena felt her cheeks warm. "I'm just a doctor." "No," Thorvik said, standing. "You are more than that, much more." The day the Creche transport arrived, Elena stood on the docking platform with Taro beside her. The cub had grown in 2 weeks. His shoulder now reached her hip. His wound had healed completely, leaving only a faint scar beneath his silver fur. The Creche ambassador, a massive female named Sharatok, descended the ramp. Her eyes the same golden amber as Taro's fixed on Elena. "You are the human," Sharatok said, her voice carrying the harmonic overtones of her species' complex vocal cords. "I'm Dr. Elena Reyes," she replied. "You saved a cub of our people. There is no greater act among the Creche." Sharatok approached, and despite her size, her movements held a predator's grace. "What do you wish as payment? Credits? Technology? Territory?" Elena looked down at Taro, who pressed against her leg. "I wish for him to go home healthy. That's all." "Why?" Sharatok's ears twitched surprise. "The cub has named you," she said softly. "In his mind, you are Kreshma, healer. It is the highest honor a Creche can bestow." She paused. "When he returns to our world, stories will be told of the human who showed mercy to a wounded predator. The Creche do not forget such things," Taro chirped, rubbing his massive head against Elena's hand one final time. Then, he followed Sharatok up the ramp, looking back only once with those golden eyes. Elena watched the transport depart. A strange emptiness in her chest. Vectress appeared beside her. "The Elite Guard is calling you Wonder Worker," he said. "The crew calls you the Cub Healer. Even the Creche have given you a title." "One, Gruz Mar." Elena smiled, tired but content. "I'm just a doctor, Commander." "Perhaps," Vectress replied, his mandibles clicking in what might have been a Draxian smile. "But in a galaxy of warriors and predators, sometimes the greatest strength is healing." As the transport vanished into the starfield, Elena turned back toward the medical bay. There would be other patients, other emergencies, other lives to save, and she would face them all the same way she had faced an injured predator cub, with courage, compassion, and the stubborn